Welcome to Breaking Bread. Join us as we talk about different leadership skills and learn from leaders. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So let's get to it. Today, we're breaking bread with Ellen Gracyanly, proprietor of Gracie's and Ellie's Providence. Well, hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for doing this. We're just absolutely thrilled to be here with you in Gracie's Breaking Bread this morning. We have here with us Ellen Gracyanly of Gracie's and Ellie's, and I have so many questions for you. I don't know how we're going to get through all of them. Because breaking bread is all about helping people break barriers, and you know a thing or two about doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you again for letting us pick your brain this morning.
Yes, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to talk to you. We see each other. We're always coming and going, so it's nice to sit down for a little bit and talk about what we do.
Yeah, for sure, and that's hard sometimes. But you know, you opened the doors to Gracie's over 25 years ago. And I know you shared that you were new to the restaurant industry. Um, tell us a little bit about that journey, Ellen. And also, you know, Gracie's and Ellie's, they have won so many awards. They're critically acclaimed. Clearly, you have a very strong service culture and a very strong team culture. Could you share a little bit about that with us?
Sure. So when I went to college, I studied child psychology. And I think that it was the combination of that and the passion of the food industry coming together, where I had a very strong passion for raising people up. Even when I was, I started when I was 27, but it was all about the team.
Yeah.
And I think that that is so important. So when we first started, it wasn't something that I had put like a whole business plan together, that I had all my ducks in a row. It really happened very fast. And I was more thinking, how do I get these tiles off the wall? How do I set up this room? I think the last thing I did the first week we opened was start QuickBooks. And I luckily, the first week that we were open, I was talking to guests at a table, and one of them was an accountant. And I was like, it's lovely to meet you. And I'm like, I need an accountant.
By the way,
can we meet next week? And he's been my accountant this whole time. And he taught me QuickBooks, and I learned that. So I was learning along the way.
Yep.
But it was 25 years of always and still, like, one day is never the same. You're always growing. But as long as you have the fundamental values, that is kind of your compass of how you operate.
Yeah, I love that. So you have that very clear sort of compass, and you keep just walking in that direction. Can I dig a little bit deeper on what you said about raising your team? Because I've never heard that phrase in that way before, and I love. I mean, these days we talk about having psychological safety in a culture. You were obviously ahead of the game with doing just that. But could you talk a little bit about that in terms of, how you created that culture, Ellen?
I think that as children, and even as adults, you like consistency, you like standards, you like knowing what you're getting into. So I think it's about building systems, building policies, building values, and just living by that. So even when we were small, it was, let's put the tools in place. Let's all follow these tools. like bringing everyone together. Are you on board with this? Does this make sense? Should we tweak this? We live by the motto of 1% better every day. I'm constantly, like, still to this day, like, questioning, is this the right way for side work? Like, you know, like the little things, like, are still on my mind. Like, even though we have so much going on, I still am asking those questions. Like, what can we be tweaking? What can we be doing better? Like, I just always think there's always improvement involved. So I think back then where I remember one of our servers, and I would say, you know, let's line these things up. If we know where everything is, you know, I'm always like, everything has a place.
Yes.
And I, you know, still to this day, it's still run that way. And I think it's really important. It doesn't matter how small you are or how big you are, it's staying organized. So I think all of those things are important.
I am smiling. I don't think I could smile anymore because you have hit such a chord with me with that. And when I worked in corporate roles, you know, we would talk a lot about creating the wow for our guests. And for me, it was going back to the fundamentals, the basics, you know, the standards, as you said. What does good look like? What does clean look like? What does your setup look like, right? When you said having everything in its place, if the entire team is not on the same page about those fundamentals, then you're kind of running around, right? Then you don't really have the capacity to create that wow because you're just trying to recover. So thank you for that. I think that works. I mean, you do need, of course, the emotional connection, but you don't have the capacity to build the emotional connection if, you know, the side station looks a different way every time.
Right.
So that's awesome. That's awesome. Can we go to one of your values that I've heard you and your team mention in the past, which is wish it, dream it, do it. But that's not that easy to do.
Right.
That's not that easy to do. You know, when you first started the restaurant, and then this industry, as we know, is never without challenges, especially when it comes to independent restaurants. And if I may add, being a woman in something that is still quintessentially a bit of a male-dominated industry. So, you know, a bit of a multi-layered question there for you, Ellen, but how do you persevere with wish it, dream it, do it when, you know, you may be waking up to all sorts of challenges every single day?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of our day-to-day is being a problem solver. You know, sometimes we say we're firefighters, but I think that's the industry, and it's something that you have to be good at. You have to be adaptable. You have to be able to think outside the box. And you have to do it with grace. There's no room for anger, frustration. So our team is built that way. And if you aren't, then you won't succeed. Or you won't succeed in this environment. You have to be a problem solver. And I think that the wish it, dream it, do it has stood the test of time. It was something that I came up with when I was thinking about Gracie's. And it kind of was like my compass at the time. It was something that I wished for. Never had I ever thought that I would have the opportunity to run a restaurant and to be able to put like my vision into play. I was very fortunate to have supportive parents and believed in me when I was 27, which now, you know, I think back and I'm like, I don't know if I would take that step with my daughter or my children. But they, you know, I think they understood that I had a passion, and I really wanted to be purposeful, and so we still use that um, that phrase. We use it all the time, and we try to find solutions to whatever we may be faced with. The do it part is like very important.
That's right.
It is.
That's right. If not, it is just a dream.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that, with the industry being male dominated, I think that comes across in so many industries. And, I just put my head down and I do my job. So it was never something that like I ever dwelled on.
Yeah.
I know that like coming up, our Gracie's has always been focused on our chefs. And it was nice the way it naturally, I was kind of always in the background, which I was completely comfortable with. But it was nice how naturally we grew into our chef being recognized, and myself. Like it is like a wonderful thing to be recognized for your work, and to also be a mentor for others like in the industry, and I do like really value that.
I love the do it part, because that is where the, to be cliched, the rubber hits the road. And it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
You have to keep on doing it, and as you said, you just put your head down and you did the work, and sometimes you have to let the results speak for themselves.
Right.
Not everyone is going to buy that passion overnight. But you shared earlier with me that the restaurant industry is new to you, but that work ethic, how you first got that in your childhood.
Yeah, I was raised with two very strong, hardworking, dedicated, and devoted to their work. And, as, being young in that environment, I always, a part of me wanted my mom to be home at night. You hear a lot of that. And when you get older, you realize like the dedication that it took and what they were doing. That work ethic was so strong and definitely ingrained in me. We were part of, my parents had their own company. We were part of being in that to be successful. We were working with them, alongside them, like every weekend. We were in that work and we were doing it, and we weren't upset about it. And we had to do chores. I remember on the weekends, it would take me 3 hours to clean the whole house for my mom. We came home, we had a list of chores to do, a lot of responsibility at a young age. And that's just how we operate as a family. And I think that is so important. I think you don't see a lot of that these days. I know that we've had to change our culture through the years here to adapt to how our teammates operate and what they need to feel successful. It's been a huge transition like through the years from, if you saw how our teammates were 10-15 years ago to where they are today. A lot of what we talk about now is wellness. A lot of what we talk about now is, we have teammates that 40 hours a week for our front of the house staff isn't the norm. So, and it's being okay with that. Back in the day, it was looked or frowned upon if you didn't work over 40 hours.
That's right.
And now it's like everyone is at a completely different pace. And it's much healthier.
I mean, the burnout in the industry, unfortunately, but I know exactly what you mean. My first job was before the turn of the century.
Yeah.
So, I still joke that I don't remember December of 1999 because we worked right through it.
Yeah.
But that's not healthy.
Right.
So I think to your point, finding that balance between that really strong work ethic, but also having that wellness and that culture, but I think the advice that you're sharing about, hey, if you really want to build something, and maybe it's not an entrepreneur, right, but maybe it's someone who's trying to break barriers in leadership, you have to just be driven by your passion and just keep doing it.
Right.
Yeah. So Ellen, I love that you mentioned mentoring in your last response, because that is really the reason for our existence at Breaking Bread. There's so many people who are motivated, who work hard, but you always need that guidance every now and then, or even support to get ready to get back out there to do that next thing. So for folks who want to grow their careers, who want to become the next level of leader, whatever that might be, what advice would you have for them?
I think it's important to build your group. I think it's important, if you see a spark in someone that you're working with, to ask them if you can spend time with them. We've had so many teammates here reach out to, whether it's myself or Chef, about the future, about asking questions on anything. I think it's really important to just put yourself out there and just ask the questions, and really put a solid group together. I don't think that there's anyone in this industry, if you ask them to be a mentor, that they would turn you away. And I think it's so important for your continuous growth, to really find who your group is, who your tribe is, who you can trust, who you can get feedback from. I think that feedback is essential for growth. We have made it a policy here. It's an understanding that feedback is not personal. Feedback is a gift. We even say that to guests. Like, please, the other day, I gave one of our guests, I know that she has a gluten sensitivity. I gave her we just developed an energy bar at Ellie's. I gave it to her and I was like, tell me what you think, because I know that she will tell me the truth. Yeah. I don't, even if she hated it, like, I need to know that.
Right.
Right. And feedback is so important for growth, personally and professionally. So I think you need to find the people who are going to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's it. No, it is truly a gift, because a lot of times you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And if you can find that support structure where you have trust and they can help you with that, what a gift. So it's very interesting that you mentioned both pieces, the mentoring, the feedback, and the circle, because that is the format that we landed on. Really interestingly, I had thought all along, as we were building these mentoring cohorts, that the leadership competency is what people would enjoy, and they do. But when we ask the question, to your point, right, like, tell us honest feedback, what do you think? They're like, we really love connecting with others in the same situation. Yes, we love the leadership competency, and I'm learning resilience and strategic mindset and all that good stuff. But I feel less isolated because there's 5 other people who are in a similar-ish situation. So it's amazing.
Right? Yeah, that reminds me of the Goldman Sachs program. And that was a very transitional part of our growth here. Yeah. It was really eye-opening too. It was the first time I had ever been a part of a cohort where there were different industries. Everyone's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And we all connected. And that's what it truly is. It's about connection.
Yeah.
We all connected so well that, like, my cohort is still, we still communicate and we still have each other's back. You're put through many different strenuous, activities and tasks. But it was amazing and enlightening to see that we all go through the same things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to have support.
Do you have that support?
Yeah.
That's great. Well, this has definitely been like a shot of vitamin C for me this morning, and I am, definitely keeping your wish it, dream it, do it in the back of my mind. But Ellen, thank you so much again for taking the time to break bread with us, and I just really appreciate this.
Yes, and I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's so important. Such good work.
Thank you. We're just going to keep forging ahead.